Global Business Report on Arise News. All right, we've got 4 big stories to discuss with Arise business analyst Chika Mbono. First of all, the Naira is appreciated on the parallel markets, being linked to the moves made by the central bank to liberalize remittances received from the IMTOs, International Money Transfer Operators, or International Money Transfer Service Operators, however you'd like to call it. So very interesting there. It looks like the Naira's moved from about 500 to 490. We'll talk about that with Chika. Also, the central bank, in another new circular, has put out special bills, and these special bills, they've seen it on the screen there, are meant to deepen the markets and also expand options for investors. It's also linked to the cash reserve ratio. We're going to talk about that with Chika Mbono as well. And then President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the expansion of all programs under the National Social Investment Programs, the NSIP of the government. This disclosure was made by Sadiya Umar Farouk, the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, while speaking with State House correspondents in Abuja. And still on announcements, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, have signed an MOU for skills training and empowerment of Nigerian youths in the 36 states across the country. According to a tweet by the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, the youths will be trained in 21 different vocational skill areas. There's the tweet right there, but we'll start first with the Naira. You're very welcome. Chika Mbono, Arise business analyst. Fine, sir. Glad to have you. So, I think you predicted this. You said that there would be an appreciation.
The issue is supply and sentiment. Supply and sentiment. And the supply, clearly, the CBN policy, remember what was said. There were reports that for Q2, the Nigerian diaspora remittances fell by 40%. Now, compared to Egypt, that fell by 20%. So if you isolate maybe COVID impact, at least it fell by about 30%.
Right.
And all that was because the foreign exchange that normally comes to Nigeria, have screamed it in this program, has been chased away by the kind of exchange rate regime that we had in the country. So with the CBN policy, that window is open again, and people are seeing supply coming to the market because of the new policy. And once supply comes into the market, there'll be pressure on the price, downwards. Because the price that have been hanging up there is because of the paucity of supplies. And so that's the first one. And the sentiment, even before the supplies, are coming in, if you're holding dollar positions, you like, oh, let me just, maximize the rate now.
Right.
Because the only way the rate can go, if supply is increasing, is downwards, and that's a good sentiment for us.
In fact, also even with respect to speculators, because a BDC was quoted saying that speculators now better watch out, because if they could get burned, if they're thinking that they're going to depreciate further, this has now flipped things on its head, and they might as well sell into the market to get rid of their holdings, which could possibly add to more.
Yeah, that's the issue. The issue is that once supply comes in, the price is hanging up there because of lack of supply. This CBN policy that's why remittances that disappeared.
Yes.
They are being caught up there by some people, and who are paying the high rates now, because the people can withdraw their cash and go to the market. Once the market is funded with more cash dollars, the rates will naturally fall down, and that's what's going to happen.
Chika, can this be maintained?
Of course, I thought about it yesterday, and I said the issue has been that let the CBN policy be certain and be constant. Not that, when things get better now, they just change it. I told you that there was a time people were scared because about 40% of the deposits in Nigeria, in the banking system, is in domiciliary accounts.
Right.
And so people were preserving their value through holding dollar earnings. And people were worried at the time, would CBN just convert overnight and tell you that your dollars is just this rate.
Right.
And those kind of sentiments will, affect the exchange rate. And as far as CBN stays, constant in their policies, this should happen. Now, these are things we'll talk about.
Right.
We know always, our CBN has always had this way of moving around. And when they find out that, like a petulant child, when you find out that it doesn't work,
right,
you just come back to the right thing. We had expected this to happen a long time now. And that's how it was in 2016, 2017 also.
Fantastic. All right, we move from the currency now. Chika, this is Finance 101. You're going to give me a lecture. Let's put up that special bills circular that was put out by the central bank, where they're saying they're putting up these special bills that are hopefully going to add liquidity to the market. Yeah, there it is. So, Chika, the introduction of the central bank special bill. So, help us out, Chika.
Again, this is commendable.
Yes.
Because at the time, it was CBN was like behaving like, like you get a junction with your driver and tell the driver where there are two ways. The driver go left, then announce me they go right, and I mean they go left. Right. So you don't know how it's going to play around because you are there. CBN was there pro growth. Pro growth means the banks, should have more money to lend.
Yes.
So that's on one hand. On the other hand, you're stifling the banks by increasing the CRR.
Right.
Either the regular CRR or LDR CRR or arbitrary CRRs. And so you're sucking money away from the system. And on one hand, and telling the banks again to increase lending. How's it going to work?
Right.
I think there's one way Bloomberg described it that it's just as that. It's like driving in opposite directions, that you don't know how bank CEOs and treasurers will be able to implement that. So this is good. So what it just means now, the first scenario is this.
Yes.
Remember, a cash reserve ratio.
Yes.
If you banks bring 100 naira deposit into the banking system.
Yes.
What happens is, because cash reserve ratio rate in Nigeria now is 27.5.
Yes. What
happens is that they can only play around with 72.5.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So the other 27.5 is sterilized in CBN as cash.
Right.
Non-earning.
Right.
They can't do anything with it.
It
doesn't count to the liquidity ratio. But remember that the 100 naira they brought in as deposit, they're paying interest on it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the only amount they can play around with to make money was 2.5. So the first thing is it hurts bank earnings.
Okay.
It hurts banks' liquidity. It hurts their ability to give out loans. However, also, CBN at the time came out with this real sector lending program.
Yes.
And I said banks can actually lend from that, the cash reserve ratios, for real sector lending when they're promoting at 5%.
Yes.
So that was one window for them. So, but it didn't help much because of the lack of credible obligors. So now because of the complaints, we've seen that CBN has come and said, okay. And then before I move to the new,
yes,
we also raised issue here. We did one work here analysis here, and we found out that the amount of restricted cash in the bank balance sheet sometimes is up to for some banks, up to 50% of their balance sheet.
Yes.
And so, if you compute the effective cash reserve ratio for most banks, some of them is about 50%.
Much higher than the 27.5%. Right.
So CBN is saying now, guys, we will calculate it for all of you.
Yes.
To what's supposed to be 27.5, and the excess that's there, we're going to issue special bills. So
yes.
Zero rate bills, which CBN determine the rate. That's going to be another drama because of the fact that even 1 year the NT bills now is 0.1.
Yeah, we have that. We have the T bills. I think you put that up.
It's 0.150.
Yes.
And the one on 90 days up is 0.00. I can't even.
There it is in blue. Yeah, 0.0215.
I got it. I got it.
Yes. Yeah.
And then 90 days
0.0990.
So but I mean, but even at that now, okay. So we said that your let me use the language of the current. Your quarantine cash.
Okay.
Hitherto will now you're able to use it now. We'll pay you interest on it.
Yes.
So before non-interest earning.
Right.
Now interest earning, no matter how small.
I'm with you.
No matter how small.
Right.
Secondly, you can trade with it.
Yes.
With other banks. You can sell it to other banks, even retail investors and so on and so forth. So that can provide liquidity.
Right.
That's why now it will count the liquidity ratio at another difference from the first scenario. But it can't discount in the CBN window. Basically, if you want to go to this standing deposit facility, or standing lending facility, you can't use it because normally CBN asks for collateral before they can give you liquidity in that window.
Right.
So you can't use it in that window because it's like CBN lending to itself.
Right.
So that's the scenario. So it will bring more liquidity into the system. And do recall we were saying all this while that the monetary policy rate, the way it's supposed to work was if you reduce it, borrowing becomes interesting.
Yes.
People will come and borrow, and then the economy will reflect.
Right.
But we kept saying that where's the money to lend? because the CBN has sucked it away from the
CRR. Debit, yeah.
So with this situation now, we believe that some liquidity will return to the system. But the overhang in all, again, is the macroeconomic environment for lending. What are the issues, challenges for lending? So even now we have the Naira, can we find credible obligors to lend, who collect the money and pay back?
Chika, see, this is why we have you on the show, to explain all these things. Thank you so much. Okay, so two good moves there from the central bank. I want to get your take really quickly on President Buhari's tweet here. He's expanding the national. There it is. President Buhari has graciously approved the expansion of the NSIP. That's the National the Service Investment Program, and empower beneficiaries 500,000 to 1 million. GEEP, that is Government Enterprise Empowerment Program, they're increasing that by 1 million as well. Then the beneficiary of the NHGSFP, National Homegrown School Feeding Program, by another 5 million. So, Chika, what do you make of this?
All the social investment programs are laudable.
Yes.
Laudable. Now, and I will commend the government and the president for increasing the amounts. But the challenge has always been the last mile. The last mile.
Yes.
How do we ensure, that the people that these things are meant for actually get them?
Right.
They play back. How do we verify the impact of this?
Because those are big numbers.
They're big numbers.
Go from 500 to
so
1
how
million.
do we, this? And at the time it was politicized and it was given through the elections and stuff like that. But be that as it may, the issue is laudable. But our problem is always accountability. How do we ensure that the people the money is meant for actually get it?
Okay, we only got 2 minutes. I think you probably have the same answer along the same lines.
The youth program. The youth program.
Yeah, Minister of Youth and Sports.
A drop in the ocean, but still commendable. 23,000 people out from youth who will be trained for vocational training.
There's 600 in each state, yes.
In each vocational training, vocational skills. Again, commendable. But again, when they leave,
jobs
for them. Compare this to the one by the COVID.
Right.
Similar.
Right.
So what they wanted to do, the graduate program for
150 billion naira.
For that. Right. That one they're going to work in placing them in companies when they leave. So the issue is when they leave, get these skills, where would they work? Provide employment for them. Make sure they have government employment. Those that don't have employment, empower them to be entrepreneurs so they can open their own businesses. And they shouldn't die like the SMEs in Nigeria are dying.
So and that's, Chika, just to emphasize on that last point you just made. At this point, it's no longer about training programs. You must add a job placement.
Just job placement after training. Critical to have just job placement after training. Or empowering them as entrepreneurs to go out there and then start their own businesses.
But then, of course, they're starting a business in an environment that you have to make conducive
for them.
For them,
finance for them. Solar. Things that power is a major issue. Can work around those things. But just make sure you provide the environment, not just the graduates. That they apply for them, they leave, and then what happens after that?
Right. Exactly. Arise business analyst Chika Mbono, thank you for taking us through the appreciation of the Naira, the new special bills issued by the central bank, the expansion of the social investment programs by the president of the nation, Nigeria, and of course the Minister of Youth and Sports planning to train 23,000 youth across the nation. Chika, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News.